a story told that can't be real, somehow must reflect the truth we feel, yeah.
Jag?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say that, I think the Muslims, I think they might have something right. I know that I'm not supporting the religion per se, but I think that the reason why they might have so much, the reason why they trying to get out of this life a lot of times, they have multiple wives, and then every now and then they'll blow themselves up, is maybe because they recognize that, marriage is such a disaster that, in order to escape their nagging wives, the only thing they can do is to, blow themselves up, or, or...
I don't know.
Make a marriage joke there, but it's generally the single guys that are the suicide bombers. It's
I will say that
males.
Virgins are usually less naggy than
exactly.
wives. So maybe having 72 virgins is a way of avoiding being nagged all the time.
Right.
Gosh, after 500,000 years, I would think that even 72 virgins would kind of get a little tiresome.
It's hard to please 72 virgins, but at the same, well, actually, it'd be easier than somebody.
Speak for yourself.
What? 72 virgins. I don't know. It's hard to imagine that you'd be able to find that many in heaven when you can't find this many on this planet. But anyway, the point is that the question that I had for you and everything like that was. Be serious at all, is that it seems as if the atheist experience, I kind of liken it to, the professional skeptics, if you will. I don't know if you've heard of Michael Shermer and skepticism.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We run in those circles too.
Right. To me, there's a healthy form of skepticism, which basically is skepticism predicated upon, okay, I don't see any evidence, and so therefore I'm not going to believe it. However, the unhealthy skepticism, in my view, is at least when there is evidence presented in a scientific manner, what have you, and you maintain your position despite that evidence, it would seem that that's more along the lines of unhealthy skepticism.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, we agree with that 100%.
It depends kind of on what you're going to count as evidence and how much of it there is. Obviously, anecdotal and testimonial evidence is not a justification for believing anything.
Right, I understand that. However...
And it needs to be proportional to what the claim is. If you tell me you got a new pet dog, I don't need much evidence. Matter of fact, I don't need anything other than your word to at least tentatively believe you. But if you say you got a new pet dragon, I need quite a bit more evidence.
You might want to go check that out, yeah.
What I was going to do is I was going to try to bring up scientific evidence, at least in terms of reincarnation. I'm not sure what both of you all...
Sure, and if you have any, and it's sufficient, you can get $1 million.
Okay, well, I guess it would determine as to what you would classify as sufficient, but, which is obviously very tentative, I suppose. You need a lot, I take it.
Yeah, I would probably need quite a bit because it's an extraordinary claim. Basically, it boils down to you're claiming that you're making a claim that some part of you actually exists after you're dead.
Right, your spirit, right.
Yeah, well, so you can't just, you'd need some evidence that a spirit actually exists.
Right. Well, have you looked into, let's say, I think the BBC did a program a while back ago called The Boy Who Lived Before, and various other people have come on Coast to Coast and talked about how their children remembered certain key events in their previous life that they would ordinarily never have knowledge of. In other words, there was one child who remembers being a World War II pilot, and he was shot over. He remembers what battle it was. He remembers.
Let's correct that real quick. The child claims to remember this.
Okay. At least. But, how would you chalk that up as to, say, a false memory, or that he made it all up?
First of all, a lot of these has already been proven as false memories that have been brought up during hypnosis. That you have this suggestive capability,
false memory syndrome,
and false memory syndrome.
Okay, but he wasn't hypnotized, and there's other kids that haven't been hypnotized, but they.
Hang on. I haven't seen the one you're looking about. I wrote it down. I'll look it up. But what you're talking about is anecdotal evidence. You're talking about testimonial evidence. And while there may be anecdotal evidence and testimonial evidence that supports this, What you'd need in order to demonstrate reincarnation is something more solid. While I may end up agreeing with you that there's enough evidence there to say, well, that's neat and maybe we should look into it some more, there's certainly not enough evidence to say, yes, I believe that reincarnation actually occurs. Because belief is a state of mind of being convinced that a proposition is true. Not that it's possible, not that it might almost be plausible, but that it is actually true. That's what belief is.
Right.
And I haven't seen, now there may exist enough evidence to convince me, but I certainly haven't seen enough. So I'll look into that documentary. We're almost out of time. I got to let you go. Please call back again next time if you want, or you can email tv@atheisttypingcommunity.org, and we can talk about it offline if you want to, especially if you've got documentary type evidence of stuff.
With prayer, I think prayer is like masturbation. It only makes you feel good.
The other way that it's like masturbation is that you should do it at home
in your closet
and not in public schools.
Right.